Okay, one real question. When was the last time you sat down to watch one YouTube video and actually watched just one? Yeah, me too. We laugh about it. We call it doom scrolling. We joke that we have no attention span anymore. But here's what nobody's talking about. This isn't you being lazy. This isn't a self-discipline problem. What's happening inside your brain right now was engineered by some of the smartest people on the planet on purpose. And today, I want to tell you the story of how it happened, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. I want you to meet Lily. Lily's 14. She's a good kid, good grades, close friends, plays soccer on weekends. Her parents got her a smartphone to stay in touch after school, and for a few months, that's exactly what she used it for. Then one afternoon in 8th grade, she downloaded Instagram. At first, it was fun. Photos of friends, memes, makeup tutorials. She'd spend maybe 20 minutes on it before bed. No big deal. But then something strange started happening. She started waking up in the morning, and before she even opened her eyes, her hand was reaching for her phone. Not because she was expecting an important message. Not because something was wrong. She just couldn't not. By sophomore year, Lily was checking her phone over 150 times a day. She'd go to the bathroom in between classes just to scroll. She'd sit at the dinner table, phone face down, and feel this low hum of anxiety until she could flip it over and check. Her mom thought she was being dramatic. Her teachers thought she was distracted. But Lily wasn't broken. Her brain was doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem? Someone had hacked that design. Okay, so let's talk about dopamine, because I think most of us have the wrong idea about what it actually does. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical. Like you eat a cheeseburger, dopamine fires, you feel good. Simple, right? Wrong. Dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about anticipation. It's the chemical of wanting, of what if, of maybe this next one. Here's the experiment that proved it. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz studied monkeys. He gave them a light signal, then a juice reward. At first, dopamine fired when the juice arrived. That's the pleasure hit. But after a few weeks of training, the dopamine fired at the light signal, before the juice came. The brain had shifted. It wasn't chasing the reward anymore. It was chasing the possibility of reward. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when the reward doesn't always come? Scientists call it variable reward, and it's the most powerful behavior loop ever discovered. Think about a slot machine. You pull the lever, sometimes you win, mostly you don't. Random, unpredictable rewards. And that randomness, that's not a bug. That's the feature. The unpredictability makes your brain pump out more dopamine than if you won every single time. Your brain goes insane for maybe. Now, when's the last time you posted something and then kept checking back to see how many likes it got? You didn't know if the number would go up by 1 or 50 or nothing. Pull the lever, check, nothing. Pull again, check, 17 likes. The loop is identical. In 2006, a designer in Silicon Valley built a feature that changed human behavior forever. His name was Ozza Raskin, and the feature was infinite scroll. Before infinite scroll, social media feeds had pages. You'd get to the bottom, click next page, and that tiny friction, that one extra click, was enough to make you stop and ask yourself, do I actually want to keep going? Infinite scroll removed that question entirely. Ozza Raskin later said, and this is a direct quote, that he feels tremendous guilt about it. He estimated the feature costs humanity about 200,000 years of human attention every single day. But here's the thing, Ozza Raskin didn't build it to be addictive. He built it to be convenient. He wanted people to have a smoother experience. He had good intentions. The problem is that convenience plus dopamine is a trap. And once the platform saw what infinite scroll did to engagement numbers, they didn't stop there. Notifications timed to create urgency. Autoplay that starts the next video before you've decided if you want it, like counts hidden then revealed, creating suspense. Red notification badges, because red triggers urgency in the human brain. Every single one of these features, designed by teams of engineers with PhDs in human behavior and neuroscience, tested on hundreds of millions of people, optimized, refined, deployed, one min. And it worked. God, did it work. Now, before this starts to sound like a tech conspiracy, I want to be clear. The people who built these features aren't monsters. Most of them had no idea what they were creating. Some of them have spent years since then trying to fix it. But the outcome is still real. Remember Lily? By junior year, she'd started comparing herself to every girl she followed, not to her actual friends, to filtered, curated, highlight reel versions of strangers. Her grades slipped not because she wasn't smart, but because her brain had been trained to expect constant novelty, constant stimulation. Homework doesn't send you a notification when you do it right. Homework doesn't give you little red hearts. Compared to the dopamine machine in her pocket, a textbook felt physically painful to focus on. She started feeling anxious when she wasn't on her phone, and numb when she was. She's not alone. The American Psychological Association has tracked a mental health crisis in US teens that maps almost perfectly to the rise of smartphone adoption. Rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness in American teenagers have roughly doubled since 2012. 2012, the year Instagram launched on Android, the year the app became available to everyone. And I know what some of you are thinking. I'm not a teenager. This doesn't apply to me. Hold that thought. When was the last time you opened X, at 11 p.m. just to see what was happening? And then 45 minutes later, you were reading about some political fight you don't even have an opinion on and your heart rate was elevated? When did you last post something on LinkedIn and then check back 12 times to see how many impressions it got? When did you last pick up your phone because you were bored and put it down feeling more bored? That's not a self-discipline failure. That's the loop. Your loop, my loop. Adults do this too, we just have fancier names for it. We call it staying informed. We call it networking. We call it checking in. But the chemical process in your brain, identical to Lily's. Identical to a slot machine player at 2 a.m. in Vegas. The costume is different. The cage is the same. But here's the thing, and this is important. The cage has a door. Your brain is not permanent. That's not a motivational poster, that's neuroscience. It's called neuroplasticity. The loops that were built can be rebuilt, but you have to be intentional about it. Here are 4 things that the research actually supports. Not put your phone in another room, generic advice, real strategies. Strategy 1, scheduled check-ins. Instead of checking your phone reactively every time a notification appears or you feel that low-grade itch, set 3 specific windows: morning, midday, evening, 10 to 15 minutes each. Outside those windows, the apps stay closed. You're not quitting social media, you're deciding when to play the slot machine instead of letting it decide for you. Strategy 2, grayscale mode. Turn your phone display to grayscale. I know, it sounds weird, but color is stimulating. Those bright reds and blues on app icons are literally designed to trigger attention. A gray screen is boring. Boring breaks the dopamine anticipation cycle. Try it for 1 week. Most people who do it cut their screen time by 20% without even trying. Strategy 3, notification batching. Turn off all social media notifications, every single one. Check them manually during your scheduled windows. The moment you receive a notification, your brain gets a microdose of dopamine before you even open it. That's the trigger. Remove the trigger, you break the loop at the source. Strategy 4, replace, don't just remove. This one is the hardest and the most important. Your brain needs dopamine. You can't just take it away, you'll feel miserable and relapse in 3 days. You have to replace the source. Exercise produces dopamine, real dopamine, earned through effort. So does a real conversation, reading something that challenges you, creating something with your hands. These aren't substitutes for social media, they're upgrades. The dopamine hits are slower to arrive, but they last longer, and they don't leave you feeling hollow. The goal isn't to be a monk who never opens Instagram. The goal is to get to a place where you are in control of the loop, not the other way around. Lily is 17 now. She still has Instagram, she still posts, she still checks it. but she checks it twice a day after school and after dinner, 15 minutes each. Then she closes the app. She told her mom recently that it feels like she got her brain back. Not because she quit social media, but because she finally understood what social media was doing to her brain and made a choice. Knowledge doesn't automatically change behavior. I'm not going to pretend that watching this video will make you put your phone down forever. But it might make you pause just for a second the next time you feel that pull, that itch, that maybe this time there'll be something good. And in that pause, that's where you get to choose. Anyway, if this made you think differently about the apps you open every single day, subscribe. Because next week, we're going to talk about something closely related, why your brain actually enjoys arguing with strangers online, and the psychology behind why outrage is the most profitable emotion Silicon Valley ever discovered. See you then.